Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Isavasyopanishad sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitha ma kridha kasya asuryanamate loka andhena tamasavrita तागंस्ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति ये केचात्महनो जनाः अनेजदेकं मनसो जवीयः नैनद्देवा आप्नुवन् पूर्वमर्षत् तत्थावतो अन्यानत्तेति तिष्ठत् तस्मिन्नपो मातरिश्वा ददाति तदेजति तन्नेजति तद्दूरे तद्वन्तिके तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य तदु सर्वस्यास्य बाह्यतः यस्तु सर्वाणि भूतानि आत्मन्येवानुपश्यति सर्वभूतेषु चात्मानं ततो न विजुगुप्सते यस्मिन् सर्वाणि भूतानि आत्मैवाभूद्विजानतः तत्र को मोहः कः शोकः एकत्वम् अनुपश्यत सपर्यगात् शुक्रम् अकायमवृणम् अस्नाविरगम् शुद्धम् अपापविद्धम् कविर्मनीषी परिभूः स्वयंभूः यथार्थत्यथोर्थान् व्यदधात् शाश्वतीभ्यः समाभ्यः अन्धन्तमः प्रविशन्ति ये विद्यामुपासते ततो भूय इव ते तमो य विद्यायागुम् रताः अन्यदेवाहुर्विद्यया अन्यदाहुरविद्यया इति शुश्रुम धीराणाम् येनस्तद्विचचक्षिरे विद्याम् च यस्तद्वेदोभयगम् सः अविद्ययाम् मृत्युम् तीर्त्वा विद्ययामृतमश्नुते अन्धन्तमः प्रविशन्ति ये सम्भूतिमुपासते ततो भूय इव ते तमो य सम्भूत्यागुम् रताः अन्यदेवाहुः सम्भवात् अन्यदाहुरसम्भवात् इति शुश्रुम धीराणाम् येनस्तद्विचचक्षिरे सम्भूतिम् च विनाशम् च यस्तद्वेदोभयगम् सः विनाशेन मृत्युम् तीर्त्वा सम्भूत्यामृतमश्नुते हिरण्मयेन पात्रेण सत्यस्यापि हितम् मुखम् तत्त्वम् पूषन्नपावृणु सत्यधर्माय दृष्टये वायुरनिलम् अमृतम् अथेदम् भस्मान्तगम् शरीरम् ॐ क्रतो स्मर कृतगम् स्मर क्रतो स्मर कृतगम् स्मर अग्ने नय सुपथाराय अस्मान् विश्वानि देव वयुनानि विद्वान् युयोध्यस्माज्जुहुराणमेनो भूयिष्ठां ते नम उक्तिं विधेम भूयिष्ठां ते नम उक्तिं विधेम Om. Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you, Nitya. नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्याय सम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः शङ्करम् शङ्कराचार्यम् केशवम् बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयम् करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादः शङ्करम् लोकशङ्करम् ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अतः शान्तिमन्त्रम्। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदम् पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। So we saw in the last few classes as a summary, Isavasyamidam Sarvam. Like this, the mantra started. The first mantra is for those who are taking the path of nivarti or renunciation, and then those who cannot do that. The second mantra says the path of pravrti. Kurvanneva karmani jijivishe. May you live for hundreds of years doing the karmas alone. So, having done that, the question was, what is the type of Atma you are referring to here, which was explained in the last few mantras, which ended with the fifth mantra, Tade jadi tanne jadi tad dure tad dvantike tad antarasya sarvasya tad u sarvasya asya bahyata. So, with the content, it cannot be directly said, this is what is Atma or this is what is Brahman. That is how all the Upanishads, whether it be Ishavasya or the Brihadaranya, all the Upanishads, when it comes to Atman or Brahman, there is no definitive definition because it is beyond definitions, beyond words, beyond the capability of mind to grasp even if anything has been mentioned about it. So to drive in the point, always the Upanishads have used contradictory statements. Tad ejadi tanne jadi. It moves, it doesn't move. Tad dure tad dvantige. It farthest of the farthest and the innermost of the innermost. Tad antarasya sarvasya. It is so it is everywhere outside of the same thing which is we are talking about is inside. So this is how the last mantra we finished, where Atma Tattvam has been given with contradictory statement. Now, it is not easy for us to understand what is the indicated Atman or Brahman. So what natural question can come? The contradictory statements are such that, it is giving us no clear-cut idea as to how it is to be understood, the Brahman or Atman you are referring to, which you are asking us to take through the path of renunciation so that you can be in the path of, protection from the world of desires and the samsara. So, the Upanishads itself narrates where as if the benefits of knowing Brahman, how it will be helpful in the 6th and the 7th mantra. Even though it is not benefits per se, you can say that this is what is seen in the Brahmajnanis, or those who have attained the knowledge of Brahman. How they have been. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmani eva anupashyati sarva bhuteshu cha atmanam tato na vijugupsate. This is the 6th mantra. Yastu sarvani. Yastu means yahatu is the splitting of the word. He who indeed sees Brahman in the above mentioned mantras up to the 5th mantra, he is a parivrat mumukshu. He is the one who is desirous of emancipation or freedom from the mortalities of life. And he is a mendicant or a renunciation, or he is the one with the detachment. Sarvani bhutani. Here the word is every creation, everything that is under creation. Means, what does it mean, Sarvani bhutani? Avyaktadini stavarandani is what Shankaracharya is saying. Avyakta means the unmanifest, not Brahman. The first Brahman becomes the unmanifest before manifestation. So even from the unmanifest to stavarandani means the most minutest. Stavaram means which doesn't move. Stavarandani means what doesn't move. Means from the avyakta till the minutest, you can say. Atmani eva anupashyati. This mubukshu, or the mendicant, or the one who has taken to renunciation, who is now having done the Shravana Manana Nididhyasana on Atman or Brahman, have arrived at his own experience of seeing the Atma in Atma. Atma here is the self. In his own self. Atmani eva anupashyati. He anupashyati means he sees in himself, not himself as the body, mind, intellect complex, but Atmani eva, in his self, his Atman. In his Atman, he is able to perceive the Avyakta Brahman to the minutest of the creation. Sarvani Bhutani, every creation that can be conceived of by us, that is seen as part of himself, as his own nature. The way he sees his nature, which he now knows that it is not the body, mind, intellect, but definitely there is a self beyond the body, mind, intellect, which is myself, my own self. In that self, he is not seeing himself, but he is seeing the whole creation from the Avyakta, from the unmanifest to the minutest of the creation. Atma vyatiriktani na pasyati ityartha. He doesn't see other than Atma anything else. Now, here will come the question, doesn't he see the world? Doesn't he say anything? The Acharya says, Shankaracharya says that no, he doesn't see anything other than thing. Even the world which he is seeing, his own body, his own relatives, his own blood relatives, his own friends, his possessions, the world, everything he is seeing as part of his own self. This is why Tena Tektena Bunjida can be connected here. Because there is nothing more one you can covet here. Because when you see everything as part of you, then how can you covet for anything? Because you are seeing everything as part of yourself. The same Atma is percolating. Vasidam, Achadiniyam is percolated through everything. Isavasyam idam sarvam. So that sarvam is the same sarvam which he is seeing the world as Atmani, in his own Atman. So how can he see anything separate from him to covet or to aggrandize or to desire for anything. That is not possible. That is why Shankaracharya says that Atma Vyatiriktani na Pasyati Ityarthaha. He doesn't see anything separate from the Atman, his own self. Then how does he explain that? Sarva Bhuteshu Teshu Eva Cha Atmanam Tesham Api Bhudanam Swa Atmatvena. Sarva Bhuteshu. Next line where he says Sarva Bhuteshu Cha Tata is the mother thing, no? Sarva Bhuteshu Cha Atmanam. So that is the way in which he is seeing that. In everything, he is seeing everything. That is why do not get confused between the two. He is seeing his own self as everything, and in everything, that means he is seeing everything as Namarupa. But Sarva Bhuteshu Teshu Eva, in them, Teshu means it is a locative word, means in those Namarupa, Atmanam Teshamapi. Every atom or every creation also has a self. Just as you are a creation in the world and we have a Atma in our own self, which is beyond the mind and the body and everything. And every creation also has an Atma in it. They are also having a self. Whether they are moving, immovable, avyaktam, unmanifest, or whatever may be their form. From the Brahma, the avyakta Brahma to the minutest of the creation, Sveshvam api bhutanam swam atmanam atmatvena pashyati. Atmatvena, in the form of Atma, in them, is the same Atma which he now has seen in himself. So one who sees in himself his Atma is easily able to see the same Atma in the other creations also. And therefore there is no difference between this Atma and that Atma. What is the difference? There is a difference only in the Nama Rupa. And the Nama Rupa is only for the apprehension or the Vyavahara, which is not different from the Avyaktadi Stavarandeshu, means from the unmanifest Brahma. All this creation has come. So what comes out of mud has to be made of mud, or what comes out of gold has to be all gold. Same way, what comes out of Brahman is everything is Brahman only. So whether it is Avyakta form or the minutest of the creation, they are all Brahman only. And in Brahman, I am also part of the creation because I am part of the world, part of the creation. And if I am able to see myself, my own Atma, separate from my Nama Rupa, as my own, my name and form is separate, which is to the body, I am seeing myself as an Atma, which is the self in me. The same self I am able to see in everything. That is why Tesham Abhibhutanam Swatmatvana Eva Atmatvena Pashyati, Anupashyati. Now, here Acharya is giving a long sentence which I am going to read, but it is connecting to the last line. Yata asya dehasya karya karana sankadasya atma aham sarva pratyaya sakshi bhutaha chetayita kevalo nirgunaha ena eva swarupena avyaktadinam stavarandanam ahameva atmatveti sarva bhuteshu cha atmanam nirvishesham yaha tu anupashyati. That means, yasya yatha, just as, asya dehasya, this body, my body, which is the one who has realized, he is now realizing how he is realizing his Atma. Karya karana sangadasya Atma aham. This karya karana sangada, that means cause and effect. Karya karana sangadasya. This body is a cause and effect of something. In that, there is a self. That self is what is known to me as aham. this aham or the I, which I am referring to when I am interacting with the world, I am referring to this aham, which is the atma, which is myself. And Delph is where karya karana sangadasya is inside this cause and effect body, which is called the deha. Sarva pratyaya sakshi buddha. Pratyaya sakshi buddha means sakshi buddha means is the sakshi or the witness for the creation. Buddhasya sakshi buddha. So is the witness of the creation. For what? Sarva pratyasya. For all experiences. Pratyaya here means experiences. So sarva pratyaya, whether it is in the form of names or whether it's the form of in the form of forms or is it in the form of experiences. I am experiencing my body either by the name, the form or experiences. In that, I can also be a witness to my own body. And to that witness, I am addressing myself as Atma, and which is, when I am transacting in the world, I use the word I or Aham. So this is how I have arrived at my own Atma, which is the Chetayita, is the consciousness in me, Chetayita. And what is the nature of the Chetana or the consciousness? Kevalo Nirgunaha. It is absolutely pure and nirguna. That is the nature of my Atma. Even though I am being experienced through the body, my body may be seen as guna. But in the saguna, I am experiencing the nirguna Atma as a Chedaida, as a consciousness, which has no guna at all. Therefore, Kevalo Nirgunaha. Ena eva Swarupena, as the Swarupa, one's own self. Avyaktadanam, avyaktadinam, stavarandanam, ahameva atmatva iti. From the avyakta, unmanifest Brahman, which also has got an Atma or Brahman, to the minutest of the creation, everything has got an aham. Everything has got an I. Whether it is capable of expressing or uttering the word I or not, they all have the potential in them as I. Whether it is seen in only the living beings or the plants, but even in the stavaranda, means up to the minutest non-movable or unmoving material, also has got the aham in it. Sarveshu bhuteshu cha atmanam nirvishesham. In sarveshu bhuteshu, every atom of creation, in that atmanam nirvishesham, without any specific, because there is no vishesha or guna for identifying this atma in any of them. That is why we are not able to see the atma in everything, because there is no guna to identify. Because either we are able to see them through the sense organs or through the mind. But if you want to know them through the mind or through the intellect, they need a guna. Only saguna can be conceived or perceived or experienced through the mind and the sense organs. What do not have any guna, you cannot perceive it. Which we say air also has some guna. Shabda gunagam akasha. So there is some guna in the akasha or the space. That is why we are able to conceive atma akasha. But this is beyond akasha, nirguna, kevala nirgunaha. Therefore, nirvishesham atmanam sarveshu bhuteshu. In every atom of creation, from the avyakta to the minutest, we are not able to see the atma, but we are able to conceive them. Anupashyati. Anupashyati means not ordinary vision or experience. It is an experience of being that atma. That is why the word anupashyati has been used. Otherwise the word pashyati should have been enough. The word pashyati means to see or perceive. But here the word anupashyati means is to see it through again and again without any gap. That is the important of it. There is nowhere where there is a gap, yet we are not able to perceive them. Therefore, the ordinary vision cannot see it because there is no andara or gap between them. Therefore, we are not able to see that akashavat, just as akasha cannot be seen. Same way, this atma cannot be seen even though it is present everywhere. Saha tataha tasmadeva darshanad na vijugupsate vijugupsam granam na karoti. Now coming to the word vijugupsate. Vijugupsa means grana, means hatred. Neither hate, it is only a lakshana vakya. Grana means, doesn't mean hatred. Neither liking nor hatred. There is no love nor hate for anything because he is seeing himself in everything. Therefore, he doesn't nurture any hatred or love for anything because he is all. He becomes all. He is seeing himself in everything and he is hearing in everything. He is knowing everything as himself. Therefore, there is nothing as it, which is different from him, so that he cannot have a hatred or love for that. Pratyas praptasya eva anuvadoyam. Whatever has been achieved has been repeated here. Sarvahi grana atmani anya drishtum pasyado bhavati. If you are seeing something separate from you, then you can love, you can hate. But when you do not see anything separate from you or love from anything from you, how can you have any love or a hate for anything? Atmani eva atyanda vishuddham nirantyataha. Atmani eva, in one's own self, atyandam vishuddham, absolutely pure. Nirandaram, without any gap, like the sky. Pasyataha, he is the one who is seeing, the one who has attained Atma-jnana or the knowledge of Atma. He is seeing Atmani eva in his own Atma, Atyanta Vishuddham Atmanam. He is not only seeing the pure Atma in his own, he is seeing means he is experiencing. He is seeing that Nirandaram because he is not seeing there is any gap between himself and anything else. Everything in the world, he becomes one with everything. Here, I have only one example which I can show you. The experience of deep sleep, where you don't have andaram or gap between our experiences. And therefore, we have no experience of anything. Having become one with the self, we do not know we have become one with the self. Is how Chandogya said. Sati sambadhyana viduhu sati sambadhyamahe. That is what the experience is. I am not able to see the difference between anything. I am having my experience of self as myself and everything. It is the whole world has become me or I have become the whole world. This is the experience in my deep sleep. The world of waking and dream has merged with me. I am not able to separate the waking or dream from me. And I am not able to experience them because they are not separate from me. Even though the world and the dream is merged into me when my deep sleep is come. And they come back when I create the separation using the ego or the mind. That sort of a separation is not possible in my deep sleep. Therefore, sati sambadhyana viduhu sati sambadhyamahe. There is no way in which I can know that there is oneness. Therefore, I say I knew nothing. Because I always knew something separate from me. I am not able to see the separate from me. Therefore, nirantaram pashyataha. Na grana nimitta arthandaram asti idi praptameva. Therefore, there is nothing which can give me or give rise to me in to develop a hatred or love for anything. Tato na vijugupsate. Therefore, I cannot be having any vijugupsa or hatred as a self. I love all. There is no love in it. I have become everything. So you can say by becoming, I am become the total. From the Brahman to the Atma Therefore, there is no difference between the Brahman and the Atma. That is the mantra number 6. The same thing is now being repeated in the mantra number 7. As I told, the Upanishad never gets tired of repeating the same thing to drive in the point, because it knows very well that we have limitation of grasping, because our tendency for human mind is to objectify. So even when hearing these Upanishadic words, our tendency is to objectify Akashavat. It must be something like Akasha. Like our mind will be always trying to project it to as an experiential. Seeing that, by way of using words and example. Yato vacho nivartande aprapya manasasaha. Upanishad has very clearly told to a student who asked, Keneshidam padadi prekshidam manakena prana pratama predi yukta. Keneshidam vachamimam vadanti chakshushotram kahudevo yunati. We studied this in the Kena Upanishad, where the student asked, what is the way which makes me speak? What is the mind is being propelled, etc., etc. So, for which the Rishi said that, Yato vacho nivartande aprapya manasasaha. This is beyond words, my son, beyond your mind. You cannot even grasp it with your mind. And you cannot define it with your words. Whatever words use will be falling short of the explanation. So don't even ever attempt to it. Be in yourself. Be it in your own Atma. That is the best you can do. To such a student, no Rishi has failed to repeat again number of times. Here also Isavasyopanishad repeats the whole thing in the 7th mantra. The mantra goes like this. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atma eva abhut vijanataha tatra ko moha ko shokaha ekatvam anapashyataha. Yasmin sarvani. Yasmin. Here it is Yasmin means were or in whom. Atma eva is a person who has seen Atma alone or everything as Atma. Sarvani Bhutani, in every creation. Atma eva. Abhut Vijanataha. He has understood that as he has become one with Sarvani Bhutani. He has now become one with the entire creation. He has become the creator, he has become the creation, and there is nothing other than the creator or the creation separate from him. He is Brahman himself or Atma himself. Such a person, tatra ko mohaha, what can he desire? Tatra means tasmin, or in such a person. Kaha mohaha, ko moha means kaha moha. What can be the desire? Kaha shokaha, what can be the shoka or the sorrow? Ekatvam anupashyataha. Here also the anupashyataha word is used. Such a person who is seeing ekatvam, non-duality. Such a person who is seeing non-duality, how can he have a desire and sorrow? Is what the mantra says. Now Shankaracharya says that Yasmin sarvani bhutani, Yasmin kale, yatokta atmaniva. That means the moment you realize, not only in the person who is seeing the Atma in every Bhutani, every creation, the moment he realizes that, Yadaukta Atmaniva, Tani eva Bhutani Sarvani, Paramartha Atma Darshanat, Atmaiva Bhut, Atma eva Samvritaha. The moment he Anupashyataha, he experiences that Atma within himself. Paramatma Atma Darshanam. That is what is called the absolute reality of seeing one's own Atma, or Atma eva abhut. Darshanat means not seeing it as separate. He has become Atma eva abhut. Abhut means becoming. He became one with Atma. That is what he says. Atmatva eva samvritaha. he is surrounded by Atma. Not only he is experiencing Atma, he is surrounded by his own Atma everywhere. Paramartha Vastu Vijanataha. He is knowing the absolute truth. Paramatma Vastu. It is the truth of his own truth, his own nature as the truth, and the truth in everything, what he is seeing as everything as Sarva Bhutani, every creation as separate, apparently separate from him. Tatra Tasmin Kale, in him, Tatra Atmani, in that Atman, Tasmin Kale, in that moment when he has realized that, Kaha moha ka shoka, what can be the sorrow or the happiness he is able to realize? How can there be any happiness or sorrow? A happiness or sorrow is triggered by when you see something other than yourself. It is thoughts, emotions and feelings or objects outside which can create you moha. And when you do your moha or when your desire is not fulfilled, you have driven to shoka or the sorrow. So neither there is a desire nor there is a sorrow because you don't see anything outside. Shokascha mohascha kama karma bijam ajanataha bhavati. Because he knows that kama karma bijam, it is the result of kama karma. Kama means desire, karma means activity. To attain the thing which has been desired. So what has been desired and the attempt to attain that desired one, that is the seed, bijam, ajanataha. One who realizes that he has no moha, na shoka. Neither he has a desire nor he has a sorrow. Ekatvam anavasyataha. He is seeing oneness in everything. Natu atma ekatvam vishuddham gaganopamam pashyatah. Such a person, gaganopamam, like a sky, vishuddham, the absolute pure, atma ekatvam, the unity or the oneness nature or the non-dual nature of atmatvam, na vijanataha, na pashyataha, na anujananti. He is not able to realize. Only to such a person, kama karma bijam bhavati. Only to such a person there will be a desire and activity to attain the desires of objects. Therefore, he will work towards attaining that because he is not seeing ekatvam. He is not seeing the unity in the multiplicity which apparently is seen as external. He is now seen within himself. He doesn't see that. So for him, who doesn't see it, it is external objects for desire even right now. To such a person who doesn't see the sky-like oneness in himself and everything, for him the shoka and moha is a reality. Because he cannot see that ekatvam. So, moha ka shokaha iti shoka mohayoho avidya karyayoho. This shoka and moha is avidya karyam. Is due to the non-apprehension of the reality of Atman. When you do not see when you do not see the reality of Atman, you superimpose or you project the world of objects separate from you. Just as you projected the snake, not knowing the rope, the same way, not knowing the Atma, you projected the world outside you. Which is ekatvam, it is oneness. Everywhere you are only there, Atma, gaganopamam, like the sky, you are percolating everywhere. Isavasyopanishad sarvam. That is what is percolating the whole world or the whole world of experiences. And one avidya karyam. This is due to the result of not knowing your nature, which is ekatvam or kevalam nirgunaha avishesham vishuddham gaganopamam atmayekatvam. This is the way in which the nature has to be seen. One who do not see the nature of this Atma, for him the shoka moha is real as a result of avidya karyam. or the result of ignorance because he doesn't know his own nature. Akshepena sambhava prakashanat sakaranasya samsarasya atyandameva uchched pradarshito bhavati. Akshepena, by projection, sambhava prakashanat. Now, due to the projection of the asambhava prakashanat, what cannot be projected, what cannot be seen, is now being projected due to avidya. Sakaranasya, and that is the karana for what? Samsarasya. Atyandam eva. It is absolutely the cause. There is no other cause for samsara, which is the avidya. That is the reason why, that is what Uchcheda means, what is projecting the world of multiplicity or separation from us. If one who has realized the Atma in himself, he cannot see the multiplicity. If he doesn't see the Atma, he projects the world of multiplicity because that is due to the avidya or the ignorance of his own nature. So when you do not see the nature of yourself, the world of multiplicity is seen, and that is the reason for samsara, means soka moha is a result of samsara, which is due to avidya karya. So therefore, sakaranasya samsarasya atyandam eva uchchedaha pradarshito bhavati. And that is the reason why the one who is not able to have Atma Tattva is able to see the world of objects and getting carried away by the attraction towards that and working toward the world of attractive worlds, and then getting into despondency or disappointment. By appointments brings disappointment is what Chinmayanji used to say. Disappointment is due to your ignorance. So that ignorance is the appointment which is reason for your shoka and moha. So that is how the whole world has been described by the verses. So the benefit of seeing the Atma, Ekatvam, and that non-dual Atma is seen not only in yourself, but as everything, Avyaktadi Stavarandeshu. From the Brahman, Avyakta, to the Stavara, the minutest creation, Ahameva Idam Sarvam. I am the one, I am only everything here. For such a person, what can be the sorrow or what can be the happiness? Ekatvam Anepashyata. He sees the oneness and he doesn't have to go out for anywhere because he is self-satisfied. Aptakamasya Kaspriha. One who has been satisfied by his own Atma. Atma Kamasya. Aptakama, Atmakama. Kaspriha. What can be a desire for him? There can be no desire because he doesn't see anything desirable outside himself. So he is self-satisfied. He is satiated in himself. He doesn't see anything outside himself. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Thank you. Dhanyavada.
Thank you, Bindu, very much. It's really it's such a struggle of intellectual thought to explain an Upanishadic mantra with Shankara Bhashya, which is so simply expressing unity in and through multiplicity and the unchanging, unmanifest substratum. What comes to my mind is Krishna's, I don't know if you would agree with it, but what comes to my mind is Krishna saying it more beautifully. Chapter 9, verse 4 and 5, not calling it avidya, but as my divine yoga. Pashyame yogamaishwaram. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyakthamurtina matsthani sarvabhutani na chaham teshvavastitaha. न च मत्स्थानि भूतानि पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम् भूतभृन्न च भूतस्थः ममात्मा bhutavavnah. I remember listening to Swami Chinmayanji on these verses, and I feel you struggled same way so passionately to convey the meanings of these two in the Isavasyopanishad. Thank you, Bindu.
Dani, you have any question?
Yes, Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Actually, I belong from the Pushti Marg sect, which believes in Shuddha Advaita. So, I wanted to ask, even we follow Advaita, but in the Bhakti perspective. Then, what's the, does it make a big difference between the Keval Advaita and Shuddha Advaita?
There is difference for those who want to see the difference, but those who want to see the unity can see the unity in them, in the sense that knowing Kevala Advaita, you are not away from anything. Whether you have love for everything or whether you know as you yourself as everything, is ultimately the love is not the love which is seen when you see something separate. The love of God is to be one with the God. So the purpose is maybe you are starting from somewhere, but ultimately every river ends up in the ocean same way. The method may be slightly different, but that doesn't make it separate from the Kevala Advaita. Kevala Advaita also is giving the ultimate aim, but the methods of Vishishta Advaita, Dvaita or Shuddha Advaita, all of them are ultimately aiming to only one thing, samsara nivritti. And samsara nivritti is possible only when you attain the Paramam Padam.
But does it also mean that we are being greedy, that we want to become one with God, or we want to become God?
You may say that when you are seeing him as separate. But if you see him as the one who has created you, the gold has created the ornaments can think the gold has created it. But then the gold ornaments, when it is merged back, becomes the gold. Same way, when we are all merging back to Paramapadam, it is not due to greed. It is, and don't we all wish to go back to our home in the end of the day? Same is the in every Atma want to go back its source. That is what it is.
Okay.
Thanks, Danny. Anyone else want to come up? Please raise your hand and we'll bring you up right away. Any question related to Isha is welcome. On a general topic, just wait until Saturday sessions. There's a question and answer period with Bindo, and you can bring up anything you want on related to Advaita. Hari Om Venkat.
Hari Om, Patrick, Hari Om, Binduji, Hari Om, Nityama.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om. So, Binduji, I think this is from Tadejati, Tanejati, you opened it in a way that there's no the contradiction versus, if you look, the one with Aparoksha as you can't call it as a reference. From there, if you verify all this, there is no contradiction. That is one way to look at it. I think darshana or drushti. That is one way to look at it. And as we progress to the subsequent verses, right? That is tadejati, tanejati. After that, you go to verse 6 or verse 7. There are two views here, right? One is the Karya Karana Sangata, the way Shankara put it, and try to give Tebya Vilakshana Sakshi. That is from a Turiya point of view. While the waking and dream, there is a Karya Karana, and in deep sleep only Karana is there. And from Turiya, all this is also, there is a Vilakshana Sakshi is here. The Aparoksha is easy to catch from that is available continuously. Now, Isha, the way it is navigated, what is the equivalent? Is aparoksha, is sarva aparoksha? Is that only intellectual gathering leading to that recognition later? The sarvam khalavidam. What is the aparoksha equivalent to sarvam? Just want to, because the other way, the only way, other way I see it is existence and expression, where in the karya karana, see the expression, without name and form. And there is no, that's a way to reconcile that expression is available as a continuous experience too, without labeling. The knowing and, experiencing or knowing, you see an activity like painting, anything. There is this whole experiencing part of it as an expression. What is the equivalent of aparoksha in the Isha? How do you put it, Binduji? I hope I put my question up to you now.
Yeah. I've explained it in my today's lecture, but I don't know whether you missed it or not. There are two mantras which have been taken today. One is from Vijugupsade Sakshi Bhutaha, Vijugupsade Na Vijugupsade. And in the second mantra, it is Ka Moha Ka Shoka Ekatvam Anupashyata. In these two, the first one, Sakshi Bhutaha Na Vijugupsade, one who witnesses that unity through the Sakshi Bhutaha as a witness to the multiplicity of the world outside, not only sees the world as the world of objects and names and forms, he also sees the Sakshi in him, because his body, he has been able to witness as a Sakshi. Same thing is there in everybody. So he is not only seeing the Sakshi in himself, but he sees the Sakshi in Venkat's body, Patrick's body, Nitya's body, everybody. There is a Sakshi. And that Sakshi is not different from me. Ek sarvani bhutani. From Avyatadi Savarantani, he is seeing himself in that. That is, such a person cannot have a ghrana or hatred, because he doesn't see anything different from him. That is the first part of it. So, second part is that if he have to have a real separation, then the desire and shoka will come. That also is being rooted out because karya karana sanghadasya srishti eva nasti. There is no creation for karya karana sanghata. It is avidya kritam. Avidya kritam means when you do not know that Sakshi Buddha Atma is everything. If you are not existing, if your Sakshi Buddha Atma is not there, same way the entire world of objects do not exist if their Karya Karana Sambhudatya Sakshi Buddha Atma is not there. So when you say that both the ways, there is one underlying thread that whether you look from the multiplicity or you look from yourself as the one, that is why I said in the deep sleep, where there is no Karya Karana Sanghata, where there is no body for you, to even Sakshi Buddha. Where is your Sakshi even for the deep sleeper? There is no Sakshi there, because there is nothing other than you. The Sakshi is coming when you shift to waking and then objectify your deep sleep. But in deep sleep, just as in dream, your dreamer cannot objectify dream, waker cannot objectify the entire waking, the dreamer cannot objectify the deep sleeper cannot objectify the deep sleeper to become a Sakshi. In the waking, we are able to do it because here we have logically, we can use logic to even negate our body, but we are not able to land up in our Avastatraya Sakshi. Because for that, you have to leave the Jagrat and Swapna. As long as Jagrat and Swapna is there, you will not experience your Atma if you are holding on to the multiplicity. So the Upanishad says, you first leave them, come to your deep sleep, know your Atma in the deep sleep, and now try to see the same experience of Atma without multiplicity in the waking and the dream. That without multiplicity in the waking and dream, you will be able to see the Atma because everything is Atma only. From the Avyakta to the Sthavaranda, everything is Atma because there is no other thing other than Atma. Isavasyamidam sarvam. Everything is by Isha only. This Atma or this Brahman is in everything. So when you now know that everything is nothing but Atma, and once you know that everything Atma, even if you see the multiplicity, where you see the names and forms, you know the names and forms are not real. There is a reality, Atma, for the names and forms. Just as the name and form Venkat has an Atma, which he has now realized, the Venkat who now have realized Atma can be able to see the Atma in everything. But if you have not realized Atma in yourself, you see yourself as a body, and you have not realized your Atma in yourself, you will see the names and forms, but you will not be able to see the Atma in them. For you, the world of thing. And that is what is called the Avidya Kritam. Because you have not known your Atma, therefore, Avidya has colluded or hidden your Atma. The world of your body and the mind, body, intellect is projected just as rope and snake. You are seeing the world of objects, including your body and the onwards to everything. Brahman, the Stavarandeshu. That is why you have to have the experience of Atma to see the oneness, the non-dual Atma in everything.
Binduji, thanks for this. Now, with your explanation, I'm sharpening my question a bit more now. Self in all in self, is explained in the verse 6. Is this, the way I see your explanation is a Gnana Drishti. Is this verse about Gnana Drishti or Yoga Drishti? Gnana Drishti is...
There is no difference. There is no two different Yoga Drishti or Jnana Drishti. Drishti has to be only in Jnana. Yoga Drishti is not a Drishti. It is a yoga, is an experience. There is no Drishti by yoga. Drishti has to be, Ekatvam Anupasyada is the word used. Remember that.
Yes, Binduji.
That happens only, Ekatvam can happen only from Jnana.
That brings a very fundamental question, right, Binduji? Advaita and yoga. Yoga is an experience. Advaita is an aparoksha. These are the polarities. I'm not differentiating this. The verse I'm not trying to argue also with Binduji. Is this that the layout is a yoga drishti? I'm just trying to get a Nityaji's perspective a bit also here. She took Bhagavad Gita shloka references. What is the difference between, if you can put or say the unity in this yoga drishti, gnana drishti, difference in these two is in action, is in experiencing, is in a way oneness is an experience.
See, you can see that both the verses of Gita, what Nityaji has quoted, and later in Gita is saying that, Yomam Pashyati Sarvancha Mayi Pashyati. So when in those verses, Krishna is using Mam. All the places Krishna uses Mam. He is not Devaki Putra Krishna, which we all think and they think. He is Yogacharya. He is a Jnani. And he is only one who can say Mama Maya Duratya. Otherwise, rest of all the people are in the Maya. They cannot say the Maya is easy or Maya is there. So he knows the Maya. He is controller of Maya. He knows his Maya is surmountable, but very difficult to surmount for everyone. So those who idara mandaram gurude adatasya bhayam bhavati. Even if you make a slightest of differentiation between the Atma and anything other than that, then you will be afraid of everything to ask that, because the fear is from Dutiyad by Bhayam Bhavati. From the second one, you will always have a fear. So there is no difference between Yoga Drishti and Maya, Jnana Drishti. There is only one Drishti called Jnana Drishti. And that Jnana Eva is what is Krishna is also talking about. Even though he is using the word Yoga there, it is Jnana Yoga what he is referring to.
Is that good, Venkat?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm
We'll come
trying to
back to it
figure it
if
out a
you
bit
need
more.
more
Yeah, I'll
time.
come back. We'll come back. We'll
Yeah,
definitely come back.
wonderful.
I think, yeah, we can continue with others here, please.
Okay. Next, Ravati.
Revati.
Yeah.
Hari Om Binduji.
Hari Om.
My question is apparently answered while you answering Venkat. That's the Anupashyati is also should be nirvisheshena. So that's also to see the nirvishesha also the how to do that. With Sakshi it happens, but there should be without Sakshi, then there is no Vishesha to see.
Yeah, Sakshi is the Avastatraya Sakshi when you want to start a analysis. But when you go to Sakshi, the Sakshi also has to be dropped when you have understood that Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti is only for the experiencer who is experiencing the three as a witness. But as a witness in you, the Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti is not there. Those are all appearances from the Sakshi point of view. Then the Sakshi also is dropped to become the Atma, where there is no Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, which is the state in the deep sleep. Sati Sambadhya na viduhu Sati Sambadhya mahe is what the Chandogya says, no? Having one become with the Sat in the deep sleep, we do not know that we have become one with the Sat. So, the Sat is the state of the deep sleep. And that Sat is the Atma Swarupa. And in the Sakshi is when we are having the experience of waking, dream and deep sleep as a standing apart. But that is not what is the Sakshi. The real Sakshi is not the Sakshi of one who is experiencing the three. Is Kevalo Nirgunascha, one who is beyond the Triguna or the Jagrat Swapna Sushupti, Nirvishesha, and even beyond the Trigunadita, or where you come to the Ekatvam in the deep sleep. It is not the deep sleep, it's only used as an example, but that is the awareness in which you are having, that you should be able to experience even in waking and dream. Once you have the experience of the Atma as your own nature, then you are not in the clutches of waking and dream. You are always in Atma. Then when you see the waking and dream, you know you are the Atma, you are neither the dreamer nor the waker. You see them as, appearances, and not a waker in the waking, nor a dreamer in the dream. You will be seeing them as Ekatvam. In me, I am seeing the world of objects, including my body and everything which is going through the waking dream and everything is there. So that is the state of Nirvishesha Anupashyanam, Anupashyati, or Anupashyataha, one who sees as an experience. That Anupashyata is not a visualizing, it is a being one with the Atma.
Yes, being is it's understandable. Being is very correct meaning, I think.
Thank you, Ravati. Srini, namaste.
Namaste, Namaste, Binduji. Namaste, all. So, Binduji, my question is: this
Namaste.
Sarva Bhuteshu Chatmanam, when it is saying, I feel it's a better explanation of the word Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, right? Because it is pointing to the Atma in that Sarvam, versus saying Sarva So is it like saying the observer component of the observed is the Atma? Or I don't want to use observer, just trying to make it little like this, but it's the Atma which is common, right? So the Nama Rupa is obviously not. So I feel it's a better explanation of the both Sarvam Khalidam Brahma and Isavasyopanishad Sarvam. Do you think that's the right understanding?
No. If I am able to take your dream experience, after you left the dream, when you knew that you were dreaming, you were the dreamer, and you had everything in the dream. Where did the multiplicity of the dream come about from? From you only. You came into dream as a dreamer and the world of dream. Everything is nothing but from you only. Same is the case in waking. Everything has come from Atma, the Brahman. That the waker in the waking and the objects in the waking is not separate from you. But for the waker, the world of waking is different, separate. So what the Upanishad, Sarva Bhuteshu cha Atmanam Sarva Bhuteshu Atmani. Bhuteshu and Atmani. In Atma as well as in Atma, Sarva Bhuteshu, one has to see that Ekatvam. That Ekatvam, how can you see? Unless you see that Atma in you is the one, the Atma, which is now in the waker and the waking world, is the dreamer and the dream world, is the deep sleeper and the deep sleeping experiencer. Everything is the Atma. Once you know that, then the world of waking and the world of objects cannot be separate from you. There you say that everything in the world of waking is Atman or Brahman. Doesn't make a difference because you are the one who has projected the whole world. You means not as Srinivasan, who is now identifying with the Dehatma Buddhi. You, the Atman, in your deep sleep, was having the waker and the dreamer as a bija or as a potency to project it. And you projected it in the dream, you became the dreamer, and the dream experience you experienced. In the waking you came, and the waker and the waking world, the projection is from the Brahman or the Atman. But the dream you are able to analyze in the waking thing, but you have to get out of the waking to Atma, then only you will be able to have the same experience of the waking similar to the dream. Until then, in the waking, you cannot do that analysis. Only you will know it technically. Technically knowing, but experientially you have to know your Atma. So Atma Darshanam is a must, that Atma Jnanam, or being the Atma, and then looking to the world which is being projected, that only the time when you will see. But technically, just as you have an Atma, and the world also has got Atma, of each and every atom has got an Atma. And what we call you as Srinivasan is not the Srini which is the Atma. Same way, if I call Patrick or Vinod as Patrick or Vinod, I am only calling the name and form of Patrick and Vinod. But there is an Atma for Patrick and an Atma for Vinod, which is the same Atma in you and me. Then I see my Atma in you, Patrick, Vinod, and everything in the whole world. There is no difference. So, Sarva Bhutashum Atmanam, Sarva Bhuteshu Atmani. Once who sees that, sa na vijugupsade, for he there is no grana. This is exactly whether you call that Brahma, Sarvam Khalidam Brahma, is from that point of view. Only when you become Brahman, you can say Sarvam Khalidam Brahma. Otherwise, you cannot say that. Otherwise, it is just giving the explanation of gold and gold ornaments. That it will remain. But unless you become gold and from you the gold ornaments come, you will not be able to realize that. Here we are talking about you as Atma, and the Atma is projecting the world. Then that experience is different from the gold and gold ornaments.
The only thing is when we say from Avyakruta to Sthavara, there is a whole spectrum of things. Aren't my Buddhi, Manas and my Jnanendriyas are also in that spectrum, right? It is
Yes.
not in the spectrum, in the side of Atma.
No.
So without my buddhi, manas and all functioning, how can I see the Namarupa?
No.
Then how does
You will see that everything through that. That is why some dehadi stavarandeshu. From the deha to the everything that is in the creation. You will see everything. Abhyaktadini stavarandeshu, which includes your deha. But your Atma is the Atma percolating everything from the Brahman to the speck, which includes the dust on your finger. Everything is that Atman only. That can be known only when you are the Atma as one and the same. But as long as you cannot be the Atma, you are identifying your buddhi and intellect, then you are tied up with your mind. Then your mind will show only multiplicity. And you cannot see the ekatvam there. With your mind itself, you cannot see ekatvam. Because you see your hands separate. You don't consider it as part of your body as you. You are ready to chop off your right hand if it is gangrene or cancer. But you are not saying that I am chopped off or I am not there. You are able to take your body part by part. Still you are there full. That shows that there is something, show the fullness experienced in your body. That fullness you have to experience to know that everything is from that fullness and everything is full, complete in its own respect.
Thank you, Binduji.
I don't want to belabor this, Bindo, but this language that you use, I'm not clear whether you're using metaphorical license. When you say that there's an Atman in everything, that sets a tripwire off for me. That doesn't make sense to me. There can't be an Atman in everything. Everything is in Atman. So is that that's a more accurate?
Everything is in Atman and Atman is in everything. Both have to be said. One side alone cannot be true. That is why Sarveshu Bhuteshu or Sarvani Bhutani. The Upanishad is using both sides. In everything and of everything. Both are both saying that.
Vinod, do you have a question relating to Isha?
Before that, I think Nitya madam has asked some question again in the chat, I think.
I don't read chat. I don't read chat.
She can ask all because it was just asked 1 minute or 2 minutes.
You can read it for me.
Okay, I'll read it, I think. Bindo, I honestly have a question on deep sleep. All states of consciousness is Atma Swarupa. Jnanadrishti gives us Brahma Mayan Jagat. Why do you insist on Sushupti as consciousness emptied of content?
So only in Sushupti we have that ekatvam or oneness and multiplicity is not there. The moment you have multiplicity, your mind you cannot accept that ekatvam or that oneness in everything. That to know that you need to take the example of Sushupti, and that Sushupti, what ekatvam is there in waking, is there in deep sleep also. But when the projections come, we do not see that deep sleeper present in the waker and in the deep sleep, in the dreamer, cannot be perceived because the turbulence of the mind is taking your mind away from that oneness or that sukham apapsam. I had a good sleep. That one I knew nothing. That there was a knower who knew nothing, or there was not the mind. There was a knower who has oneness with itself. That knower is available in waking and dream. Therefore, it is mandatory to take that to the deep sleep and experience that, to bring that is available in waker and the dreamer, but you are not able to see because of the turbulence we have in waker and the dreamer.
Bindo, just related question. Is oneness of content same as absence of content? Because in deep sleep, Some may say absence of content, some may say it's a oneness of content. Which is the right, or are they both same?
Both are same, because oneness of content and absence of content, absence cannot be lead to nothing. It will lead to zero or shunyavada. So the absence is here, the word absence of nothing is showing to indicate is they all have become one. Otherwise it will become zero, or what you call shunyavada.
No, I mean, the question is whether they don't really become one, right? See, this appearance, disappearance, when something disappears, there's no
Because they are,
merging or anything like
no,
that.
because they are one, they merge. If they had not been merged, the multiplicity had been there had been more than one, they cannot merge. The very reason they are merging is because they are all one, but they are apparently multiple when we project it through the mind. When your mind is Samani Bhava, when your mind becomes no mind, in the deep sleep, all that which was experienced as multiplicity in the mind becomes one, because they are in nature, in essence, they are only one. They have oneness in them. That oneness is what is merging them.
Let's take a more simpler example of ornament getting melted and becoming basically just a lump of gold. Now the form which the ornament was, the shape, size and all, now that disappeared, right? Can we call it as oneness? I cannot call it as oneness, right? The form
You
existed
have
and now
to,
it doesn't exist.
if you look from the gold point of view, they are all oneness only. The name and form is only for transactional purpose, so we call it as vyavahara. For the transaction, you have names and forms. But without this gold, you don't have name and form. Same way, without Atman, you don't have waking or
No, but
dream. You have,
I think, Vindaji, isn't it it's a different type of problem, right? We are trying to use the language that we are aware of to some phenomena. Now, this phenomenon is nothing to do with like an appearance. I mean, of course, like it has disappeared. Disappeared is the right word, but not disappeared into something. I mean, a aeroplane disappears from our view, right? But we know it is existing somewhere else. Okay, so this is not this kind of disappearance. It actually disappears into shunya, meaning nothingness, right? But it doesn't. Even this sentence is not correct because it was never existent in the first place, right?
when
So the question.
when the river flows into the ocean, won't you call the river disappeared into the ocean?
No, that's what my point is. When there is a material, mind has some way to kind of connect the material and all, right? But here, it is purely like, I think the problem is like, the
So,
phenomena doesn't have equivalent of it.
we know the moment if you allow any word to give support to your experiences as non-merging into your Atman, you will never experience your Atman. If you
No,
want to
I am in fact
experience
supporting you, Bindaji. Bindaji, I think,
if you want to experience Atman, every multiplicity has to be merged into the Atman or Brahman. Then only you can experience Atman and Brahman. Giving validity, experiences, multiplicity, names and forms, they're using words to deny the merging, deny the oneness, unison of them will never help you in experiencing in yourself your Atma.
no, Bindaji, see, the confusion basically is happening is something happening. I don't think anything is happening, right? And normally I give the example of the back of the head, for example. When you turn, when you see something, there's nothing at the back of the head. There's no perception there. But when you turn, there is a perception. So where did that previously existing perception go? Now, the mind will say it is always there. You are not seeing it. But I am saying it's just a projection. If the projection disappeared or the projection is showing something else on the screen, where did the previous thing go? Now, experientially, there's no problem to understand this because we expect the projection only to show some content and not all the content, right? And even where is the content? It is only the DVD or wherever it is. So the mind doesn't have a problem in understanding. But when we try to put the same principle here with respect to Brahman, we seem to have a problem. But as far as I'm concerned, like, it is just a disappearance. I mean, appearance and disappearance. So there's no question of like merging. There's no question of oneness the way we
See,
normally think, and so on, right?
Vinod, we are talking about something which cannot be contained in words. So the words which will bring them anybody to abandon the multiplicity, whether disappear means it is there, it will come back again. Then you are not going to be away from your samsara, your problems from me.
That I
Because
agree.
if you want to really experience your own Atma, you have to become one with even an iota of doubt that it can come up has to be rooted out. That is what the Upanishad is intending, and it is not giving you the nature of Atma. That is why the contradictory, tadde, jadi, tanne, jadi, all type of contradiction is given so that your mind don't go and get fixated to anything. It is not possible for the mind to grasp it. It is not for the words to describe it. So anything which you create a duality, remove the type of duality which is possible, then the mind will become a no mind. That is the time when you don't have to do anything because you are that. That is Tvamasi. You will realize that without doing anything. All you have to do is to abandon your duality.
Yeah, I agree, Bindoji. No, my only question was that, if I use the word projection and non-projection, is it meaningful is my question actually.
No, that will create a sense of doubt that duality can still come up.
But I think, Bindoji, the whole question is around this only. What is the source of multiplicity? Okay, and I think
The source of multiplicity is you. You the Atma, not the ego.
Yeah, and because, see, for me, I don't know, appearance of para in you and disappearance, I think experientially there is absolutely no doubt what is happening. The only problem is coming in expressing what is happening when you try to express it. And thus, like, my question is...
Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha, I told you, it cannot be told by words. It cannot be even fathomed by mind. You have to be that. Be in that.
Are you saying, for example, No, is it because I am able to express it so it is not so? Because we are able to see some aspect of it, then not that way?
Even the Upanishads have the 10 major Upanishads, or the 108 Upanishads have not been able to tell that. The Rishis have not been able to tell that. The masters of so many millenniums of years, or 7,000, 5,000 years, now has not been able to put a word to it. How can that happen? By using today's world of words which we have got in our mind.
No, in fact, I also say that because when you imagine a sparrow, the process of creating that sparrow is unknown. It's not available and nobody can describe that. Okay, because if you describe using some, let's say, process A, then that process A then becomes undescribable because then you cannot explain how that has come into being.
Right? We have discussed this on many times. It is still not possible for people to understand through language. You cannot bring to Atma anybody through language. However much you try, people will argue with you and fight with you. That is why you are never ending up with your fights in the clubhouse.
But that's anyway going to remain, I think. Till people trust Dvaita, I think it is going to remain, I think. Anyway, I'm done. Thanks.
I think Patrick will wind up the day.
Binduji? Yeah, all good. So is there's anything else you need to
Friday same time
mentions or Friday same time? Just want to clarify, Bindo, in the Dropbox, in the one that's listed right now, Shankara's commentary isn't there, but I have
Shankara's commentary is in the chat in the chat Artemisia has given in the beginning.
Okay. At the beginning today? Okay, perfect.
Well, it's a couple down because I didn't get here quick enough, but we always put the translation of the Upanishad with Shankara's commentary in the chat, and then the document that's put up above is one that Bindo himself created.
Right. I've
This
got
is a summary from the translation only. I've taken only the verses.
Yeah.
I have not given the Shankara's commentary in there.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So thank you, Bindoji.
Thank you all. See you on Friday, same time. The Isavasya
Hari
will
Om.
continue. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Good night,
Hari
Bindu.
Om. Good night. Good night.
Ariel.
Thank you.
Hari Om.